Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into some really tragic events in Vancouver.
Yes, focusing on what happened at the Lapu Lapu Day Festival. Just terrible news.
Absolutely devastating. We know that sadly 9 people were killed and others injured when someone drove an SUV into the crowd.
That's right. And the police seem quite clear. They have a 30-year-old local man in custody, and they're emphasizing they don't believe this was, terrorism.
Right, not terrorism, but still a horrific event at what should have been a celebration. It feels important to understand Lapu Lapu Day itself.
It really is. Lapu Lapu Day is, well, it's hugely significant for the Filipino community.
Both back in the Philippines and here in Vancouver.
Exactly. It honors Lapu Lapu, a national hero known for resisting Spanish colonization back in the 16th century. It's a major point of pride and history.
And it only just got official recognition in British Columbia last year, in 2023, right?
That's correct. Which just highlights the growing visibility and importance of the Filipino community here. So, for this tragedy to happen during this specific celebration, it's just deeply upsetting.
Yeah, it adds another layer of sorrow. It wasn't just any gathering, it was culturally profound. The eyewitness accounts are just chilling. Someone running a food truck described the vehicle going incredibly fast, straight into people.
Yeah, horrific descriptions. Seeing people injured on the ground immediately, the panic, the screaming.
One witness estimated the speed at like maybe 100 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
It's hard to even fathom that scene.
Absolutely terrifying. And what's also really notable is the immediate reaction from people there.
You mean how the suspect was stopped?
Yes. Reports say that after the SUV stopped, the driver tried to get away, but people at the festival actually apprehended him.
Before the police arrived.
That's what the police confirmed, yeah. Ordinary people stepping in during that chaos.
Wow. That's quite a response in such a terrifying moment. Acting Police Chief Steve Wright mentioned that too, acknowledging the public's role. And then the emergency response kicked in. We heard about Vancouver Coastal Health issuing a code orange. What does that mean exactly?
So a code orange is basically a pre-planned alert system. It signals a mass casualty event, something requiring a major immediate surge in healthcare resources.
Okay, so more staff, beds, supplies.
Exactly. Mobilizing everything needed. It really underlines the scale of the incident and the number of people needing urgent medical care.
And beyond the immediate medical side, the Vancouver police set up that 24-hour assistance center pretty quickly, didn't they, at the Douglas Park Community Center?
They did. A crucial step, really, to help families find loved ones and offer support to anyone affected. A central point for information and comfort, hopefully.
It shows an understanding of the trauma, the deep distress this would cause.
Definitely. That kind of immediate support infrastructure is so important after something like this.
We've also seen expressions of shock and sympathy coming from, well, all over. King Charles, for instance.
Yeah, he and Queen Camilla released a statement saying they were profoundly saddened by this dreadful attack, offering deepest sympathies. That international notice speaks volumes.
It does, and the Philippine President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
He also expressed his sorrow, saying he was shattered by the news. It clearly hit the Filipino community worldwide very hard, especially given the connection to Lapu Lapu Day.
Right, that connection again. Peter Fry, a Vancouver City Councilor who was actually at the festival earlier, called it unprecedented grief for the city. He also made an interesting point about the location, saying he was in a more residential area, maybe making the event perimeter more porous, was his word.
That's a really important point to consider, actually.
He didn't think the community is targeted, but it does raise questions about event safety, doesn't it? Especially in less formal settings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Residential areas often lack the defined boundaries or built-in security infrastructure you'd find at, say, a dedicated stadium or park. More access points, trickier traffic control.
Yeah, potentially more complex.
It probably will prompt a rethink, or at least a serious review, of safety protocols for these kinds of community events in different urban spaces.
The organization behind the festival, Filipino VC, they put out a statement too, didn't they?
They did, expressing heartbreak over the senseless tragedy, as they called it, and importantly, urging community members to support each other and use the resources available.
That call for unity and mutual support is powerful.
It really is. It speaks to that community resilience, that instinct to look after one another, even in the absolute worst of times.
We should also touch on the timing. This happened just before the Canadian federal election.
Right. That was noted.
But the police have been very clear, haven't they? They've found no link, no information suggesting any connection between the incident and the election.
Yes, they made that point explicitly. And that's crucial, especially in an election period, to counter any potential speculation or misinformation. Sticking to the known facts is vital.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, reflecting on all this, it's just an overwhelming sense of sadness, really. A day that was supposed to be about joy, about heritage.
Utterly shattered. It really drives home how suddenly, how violently tragedy can just tear through the fabric of normal life of celebration.
It does, but then you also see that incredible strength emerge.
Exactly. The immediate help people gave each other, the community members stepping in to stop the suspect, the rapid support systems, it highlights that vital role of community spirit.
Yeah, that resilience in the face of something unimaginable. It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? About how fragile joy can feel sometimes and how much we rely on each other when things fall apart. You wonder about the long road ahead for that community healing from this.
Absolutely. And how vital that ongoing support will be as they try to process and rebuild their sense of safety and togetherness after such a shock.